He was so thrilled he could hardly speak.
Harley!
Hi, Puddin'! You're just in time to see the...
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and I've got some sad news to report on Birds of Prey. Now, I don't know where this whole Birds of Prey versus Sonic thing ever where it started. I never saw the two movies as competing, but once it started, I definitely was enjoying it. I was enjoying just Sonic dominating Birds of Prey in every single category, and all of the apologists online rush in to say, it's not rated R. Plenty of rated R comic book movies do just fine. Like, I don't know, Deadpool or Joker, which both made $100 million in the opening weekend, I think. They were both gigantic, both rated R. So that whole argument is invalidated, especially since there is some, the Venn diagram of people that both want to see Sonic and Harley Quinn does exist. I wasn't in that, but there's certainly plenty of people that were, and there were plenty of people that saw both movies and enjoyed both movies. And again, as I always say, and I truly mean it to all my viewers, if you like a movie, don't feel bad about it. Don't think that you have to, just because media, because of the general opinion about a movie isn't good and you liked it, you don't feel bad about that. Like I've often said, I enjoy Paul Blart, Queen Latifah's Last Holiday.
Lord, wow, me. Bless the Lord. No.
I enjoyed that film. I mean, I enjoy a lot of critically poor movies, and that's okay. I mean, it's about you being entertained. It's been an interesting run for Birds of Prey, though, in that nobody's quite calling this battle yet, but I'm here today to call it. It's over. It's over. My dog is agreeing with me. Oh my goodness. Just saying Harley Quinn is making him hack up.
Because I'm Harley freaking Quinn!
It's over. Birds of Prey will lose money. It will be a loser for the box office, and that's not good. That's not good for comic book movies. That's not good for DC because, I like the more like targeted towards adult superhero movies, and this may make them a little shy to do it again. Although, I don't know, Joker did just fine, and Joker made plenty of money to carry Harley Quinn, just like real life. But nonetheless, let's look at some of the numbers that are coming in now. Now, the break-even number that is floating around that I've seen is between 250 and 300 million. Remember that movies, when they talk about their budget, they never include marketing. It's usually assumed that the marketing budget is at about the same as the production budget, which is ironic to me. And also remember that when you see these box office numbers, the cinemas share that money with the movie producers. It doesn't just go directly to them. They get about 50%. Now, this article by Mendelsohn has some interesting references to, I don't know, somebody's saying, but Birds of Prey earned $19 million over the holiday weekend, 19.8, call it 20, bringing its domestic total to $62 million in 11 days. Its $17.2 million over Friday to Sunday frame is a drop of 48% from an underwhelming $33 million opening weekend. The $82 million film has earned $143.1 million worldwide, give or take what it earns overseas today. Truth be told, the commercial reception of Warner Brothers DC Films' Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn spinoff is the most frustrating kind of performance in terms of analysis because of what the film is and what it represents. There are folks on either side of the divide with interest in pronouncing it a giant flop or a stealth hit. The truth is, it's really neither of those things. No, it's not a giant flop, but it will lose money, which is, I suppose, by definition, a flop, right? Now, no, despite what some dudes on the internet might tell you, the underwhelming performance of Harley Quinn Birds of Prey is not an example of Hollywood taking it on the chin for offering gender parity or on-screen diversity, an alleged trend that is often referred to as get woke, go broke. He said it! You owe me a nickel, Scott Mendelsohn.
Toss a coin to your witcher, oh valley of plenty, oh valley of plenty, oh.
Conversely, despite what some women on the internet might tell you, the performance of Birds of Prey is not the result of toxic men online somehow sabotaging the movie and skewing its release narrative, because it either doesn't meet their arbitrary standards of attractiveness, or because it's not hew to the DC Films template as established by Zack Snyder's Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman. Its numbers are exactly middling enough to almost validate any conclusion. And that's right. Of course, you know, the woke marketing hurt it, but I've been on record multiple times saying it wasn't the whole reason it flopped. It definitely turned some people off. Ewan McGregor in his toxic masculinity quote, seriously, for me, call me fragile, but the second I saw that, I was out. I was just out. I'm not supporting woke Hollywood. You could be woke on your own time and on your own dime, but when you want my money, I'm not going to support a guy who cheats on his wife, talking about virtue signaling about how the movie is so stunning and brave because it takes on toxic masculinity. Now, further down here, Mendelsohn, whose analysis of film trending and finance is always pretty spot on, but the interesting thing is he's predicting, so it's earned 41% of 143 million global in North America, on par with Shazam, which earned 38% of its 363 million. Whoa, Shazam, yikes. Including 43 million in China, a territory where the squad did not play. Domestically, think offhand around 93 million domestic and 228 million worldwide. If it takes off in Japan, March 20th, it could be closer to 260 than 220, but it won't. However, even Aquaman earned just 15 million in Japan. 205 million, or 2.5 times the 82 million ticket budget. Studios get about half the ticket price, and budgets don't include marketing would be the eventual break even. So it's not a Terminator Dark Fate, 266 million on a $200 budget, or a Ghostbusters, 229 million on a $144 million budget level flameout. It doesn't validate folks dismissing Birds of Prey for the conventionally sexist reasons, but nor does it further the women-led superhero movies can be huge too narrative. It's frustrating because it's a good movie, A, and B, it's exactly the kind of unconventional offering that DC Films should be producing, and C, it's exactly what the internet claims to want from Hollywood to be commercially viable DC Marvel package, no less. It's a female-led ensemble with diverse cast of the moment politics and action, every bit as rough and spectacular as the boy movies. It's even written and directed by two women of Asian descent, Bumblebee screenwriter Christina Hudson and half English, half Taiwanese indie director Kathy Yan. And yet, comparatively speaking, we once again didn't show up. Boom! I'm telling you. Even Mendelsohn. Look, I will give you credit, Mendelsohn. I get a feeling you watch my videos, especially when I review your articles. You are relatively unbiased here, and you are 100% right. What you said is something that I say all the time. They don't buy your stuff. They don't. Mendelsohn agrees that all this woke Twitter people talking about what we need in movies, they don't show up, and they never do. All right. Now, the inverse of that, though, is the narrative that, well, men didn't want to see a woman-led movie, and then you see articles that said that were basically like, well, Birds of Prey was being tanked by men. Well, the Federalist studied this and said, box office data proves it wasn't men who tanked Birds of Prey. Hollywood has yet to learn the lesson that audiences want to be entertained, not lectured. The release of the new movie Birds of Prey thrust this lesson into the spotlight when the film didn't do as well as expected, and of course, men were to blame. In the latest Warner Brothers release of a DC Comics property, Margot Robbie reprised the role of Harley Quinn in Emotionally Damaged, blah, blah. We all know what Harley Quinn is. When they show a tweet that says, the blatant ism around the conversations of Birds of Prey is funny, is wild. It's funny what kind of standards everyone holds for women-centric films, and everything has to be perfect, but dude bro movies can lack good actors, storylines, logic, and still be praised. Maybe. I mean, you didn't list any examples, so I guess you didn't bother to do any research either. Men show up men show up for these movies. I mean, Wonder Woman was an excellent film. I think Margot Robbie is very attractive, and so is Gal Gadot. I mean, if I had to choose, it would be easy for me, but they're both very conventionally beautiful. So I don't think that that this narrative really fits. Here's a quote. In the weekend's Birds of Prey, as a hip feminist referred to Birds of Prey, or BOP, similar agenda was at play. Warner Brothers elected to give the film to director Kathy Yan, who'd only one prior motion picture on her resume, and the writer Christina Hodson, Bumblebee. The female power lecturing was apparent, and Ewan McGregor, who plays Black Mask in Birds of Prey, described, quote, "What interested me with Birds of Prey is that it's a feminist film. It's very finely written. There's a script that in the script is a real look at misogyny, and I think we need that. We need to be more aware of how we behave with women. We need to be taught to change." Yes, Hollywood, you do. And the minute I start giving two craps about what Husband of the Year Ewan McGregor says makes a good husband, I mean, that ain't ever going to happen. I mean, quite frankly, there's no completion to that sentence. That ain't ever going to happen. This is a perfect get woke, go broke scenario, but it's not all that. I mean, look, the R rating, I don't believe hurt it. People showed up to see Joker. People showed up to see Deadpool. And to be honest, Deadpool was like it wasn't like Joker. I mean, but they cast Ryan Reynolds, and the marketing was excellent. So I think they got people out. I think the marketing around Birds of Prey was very poor. I think the fact that they didn't do a Super Bowl commercial was very stupid. And I think that overall, that they knew the film was going to fail, and that's why they didn't double down on budgeting. I mean, I saw hardly any ads after the opening weekend. They've just given up on marketing. I think they don't have a budget for it. And I suppose given that it's going to lose money, I understand, but you know, there's more to it. Yes, people know Margot Robbie and people know Harley Quinn, but nobody knew any of that other cast. I mean, I'm talking, unless you're a hardcore comic book fan, like Joe Normie, which is who goes to see these superhero movies more often than not, doesn't know who the Huntress is, and doesn't know, you know, and isn't, turning out for 100-year-old Rosie Perez. They're just not turning out for that. And when the woke marketing kicks in, and when you have Ewan McGregor saying it's a feminist film, there are people like me who are just like, all right, cool. I just saved $15. Get woke, go broke, Hollywood. Just another failure. And it's unfortunate that had to happen to Harley Quinn, which is a great property. I can only hope eventually the old man will finally get the lesson we're trying to teach them. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.